Hello everybody, Wolfpack here, and in this DCS World MI-24p Hind video, we will be going over the R-60 air-to-air missile and how to deploy them in the next open beta. Let's get right into it. The R-60 is a short-range air-to-air infrared guided missile that began production in 1973. When it was developed, it was one of the world's lightest air-to-air missiles. The Mi-24 was modified to carry the R-60 in the 1980s. The warhead is a relatively small 3-kilogram tungsten expanding rod that is surrounded by a high explosive fragmentation warhead. The R-60 missile uses the Peltier effect, which is also called thermoelectric cooling. It transfers heat from one side of the device to the other and does not use any additional consumables like nitrogen to cool the seeker. The pilot uses the ASP-12V aiming sight's inner circle to aim and obtain a missile tone for launch. If the missile locks onto a target, its seeker is uncaged automatically and tracks the target within the seeker's capabilities. If the target lock is lost, the seeker is recaged automatically. The missile will also be capable of engaging ground targets, but this feature is planned for later. So here we are in the cockpit of the Mi-24p Hind, and we will be discussing two new panels that are coming with the latest open beta for DCS World. The first panel is here on the left, and it says air-to-air missile. As you can see, we have a couple of switches here. The power switch obviously turns on the system. We have an air and ground switch, and then our pylon selector to the right. Once we flick this power switch up, a green light will turn on, indicating the system is operational. For the R-60Ms, we are also going to switch this to air mode. And for the pylon selector, we are going to select 1. We are really only going to use stations 1 and 2, even if our missiles are double racked. Number 1 is the left pylon, and number 2 is the right pylon. If they are double racked, we will shoot one missile and then the other on the left side of the helicopter before needing to switch over to station number 2 here. Once that is all set up, we will shift our attention over here to the next new panel that is to the right of our gun sight. We have a seeker operational light which will turn amber once our seekers are ready to go, and then a green light which will indicate when we have locked onto a target. The only other thing that needs to be done for missile launch is to ensure our weapon selector switch is in the off or missile position. This is the same position you will have your weapon selector switch in if you were shooting ATGMs. It will take some time before our seekers are operational, but it should happen relatively soon. And there we go, our seeker operational light just flicked on and we are ready to rock and roll. So let's go find us some targets and engage them. Okay, we are closing in on some Hueys, which we will engage with our R-60s. We're just going to check and make sure everything's ready to go. Power is on, and so is the green light. We are set in air mode, and we are on station number 1. Additionally, the amber light is on, so our missiles are ready, and the fan is on as well, which we all know is very important. Let's go ahead and turn towards the targets. Once we have a positive lock, we will hear a missile tone, and then we can launch. And we can see a pack of 3 Hueys here. And since we're set to station 1, we are going to fire our missiles on our left pylon. There we go, there's the positive tone. Box 2. And impact. There's one Huey going down. We are going to stay on station 1 here, and that will fire our last missile on the left pylon once we find another Huey to engage. Okay, closing in on the target. Should get a tone. There we go, there's our tone. Box 2. And impact. Now, with both missiles gone on the left pylon, we are going to switch to number 2. And that will launch our missiles on the right pylon. It'll take a little while for the seeker to become operational, however. But once that light turns amber, you are cleared to fire. And there we go, it just turned amber, so now we can fire our R-60Ms on the right pylon. Closing in on our final target, we are going to just fire both R-60s on the right pylon. Let's try to get a positive tone here. Amber light's on, everything's looking good. And we should get a tone here momentarily. Closing in, there we go, positive tone. Box 2, box 2. And it looks like both of them are going to go for the flares that Huey dumped, but that's okay. You get the general idea here. Additionally, coming with the open beta, there are a few new settings pertaining to the R60 in the mission editor. For one, in the additional properties tab over here, there is a new checkbox, the R60 equipment checkbox. If you want to have the R60 equipment in your helicopter, you need this checked. If you leave it unchecked and go to the payload tab here and check payload restrictions, you will see the R60s are in fact restricted because your helicopter does not have the R60 equipment on board. Alrighty folks, that is all I have for this video. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope it was informative. Let me know if you have any questions down below, but until next time, this is Wolfpack345 signing off, and I will see you all on the next one.